Hello and welcome to today's Life Lab. And I believe that this is probably one of the most important topics we're going to talk about. It impacts 50%, actually 51%, so the majority of the population. But first of all, let me introduce myself. If this is the first time you've ever watched a Life Lab, then welcome. If it's not, hello, I'm so happy to have you back. Little brief introduction. Just in case you don't know, but I'm sure you do. I am a mentor and a coach, and I specialize really in supporting primarily women who are parents, professionals, their partners, and they've got this real interest and thirst for knowledge and personal development to help them improve their lives. The women that I love to work with, they're all really, really smart, and I'm sure just like you, but they've also found that something has knocked the harmony and the balance in their life out of kilter. And it might be something in their work that's impacting their health or their home life, or perhaps vice versa, something in their health or their home life is impacting their performance in work. And what I really love to do is to be that mentor, that guide, that support, to offer a way back to recreating that beautiful balance, but perhaps not in that way that you may historically know. I love to use the masculine and the feminine energies. And if you don't know what I mean by that, then really simply masculine is very much the support that we have in our lives, the strategies, the support systems, the structures that give us that kind of like foundation, that support within our lives. And the feminine is very much more of this essence of being. It's the mindset, it's the way the inner work that we do around our feelings and our healing, and that helps us have this emotional resilience that really contributes to our confidence and ultimately to the way in which we lead our lives and how we lead others in our lives. I am a coach who loves to share and teach what I have gleaned, the information I've gleaned from doing my own research and following my own curiosity through reading, watching, listening, absorbing, and trying. But I'm also a mentor because I have experienced so much in my almost 5 decades, both in work, in my professional life, in my personal, my private life, my health, my relationships, my family, that a lot of what I share and what I teach comes from a place of knowing, a place of experience, a place of embodiment, and embodying those strategies that I have learned about and put into practice in my life and have really, really benefited from. So I'm a coach and a mentor, really, rather than just one or the other. So in this Life Lab, I'm going to be talking about something that I've really personally experienced much more recently than perhaps some of the experiences that I talk about. It's been something I've been experiencing probably for the last 2 years, definitely the last 18 months, and very, very intensely in the last couple of months. And I'm talking about the menopause and the perimenopause, really. I started actually doing workshops from my dining room behind me and in this room about 5 years ago when I started my coaching and mentoring business, really primarily focusing on health. It wasn't really as mainstream as it is today, which is wonderful. And the workshops were really born out of some of my clients wanting to know what to do with their health, their holistic health, in order to support them with their perimenopausal symptoms, and understanding really what the difference was between perimenopause and menopause. So true to form, I went off and got a whole load of books. I read, I did the understanding, I took the courses, did the programs, had lots of conversations with people to understand it, and then started really being very, very aware about it myself. And I think that is one of the crucial things, is that you never know when perimenopause is going to hit as a woman. It can be as early as 30 and it can be as late as like in your mid-50s. It's typically around the age of 45. So around the age of 45, I really started to track some of my symptoms and recognize them. It was because I started to prepare for the change, as many people refer it to, well before I knew that I was in it. I was aware of what could happen. I was aware of what I should watch for. And I also knew and understood and educated myself on what I could do to support myself and my hormones and my family, and where I could go and look for it. And I knew what to do when the time came, and that time came this summer. And that's why I'm doing this right now, because it's very, very new. It's very, very fresh. And I've just done all of this research, and I really, really supported myself so super well that I wanted to share this with so many people so that they didn't have to have prolonged symptoms and struggles. So I'm really sharing this Life Lab today with you and for you and anybody else who you choose to share it with, regardless of what stage you're in, you may already be in it and are looking for some remedies, some ideas of what to do, or you might be approaching the perimenopausal state and you might be curious and want to know what happens and be forearmed before it happens, sorry. You might be just really, really confused, a little bit like I was before I did the research, because there is so much information out there. And I love the fact that it's so mainstream now and so not taboo. In fact, actually, my first workshops 5 years ago was called Lifting the Taboo, on the perimenopause and menopause. But it has been lifted thanks to the great work by so many celebrities and fantastic doctors who are willing to share their knowledge so publicly. But it can be quite confusing. I've had a lot of people come to me and say, my God, I just don't know where to start. And you've been really helping me with your stories and things that you've been sharing online. So that's why I really wanted to do this live lab, to condense, to distill, to share with you how I informed myself and how I made the decisions, rather than just diving into so much information out there. For those of you who have been perhaps putting up with the symptoms and really struggling, maybe you're avoiding it, maybe you don't know what step to take next, what decision to make, this is for you, so that you can really breathe and know that you are informed and know which step you want to take next. Now, you might be a little bit like me, even though I was well educated on what to do in terms of the kind of like physical health side, the emotional side, the mental health. I was quite wary around HRT, given that my research was 5 years ago. Now, so much has been uncovered in those last 5 years. I was a little bit scared of taking HRT with all the scares around breast cancers and things like that and coronary heart disease. I'm also not a huge, big pill user. I don't particularly like to use medication unless with real importance. I healed myself back to happiness using meditation and holistic health practices rather than taking the antidepressants that the doctors offered me. I could have done that very, very quickly and been okay, but I chose to take a period of time to really heal and look after myself. So I have been perhaps a little reticent in taking HRT, but that is why I wanted to get informed, because my symptoms got to the point where they were impacting my life and the life of others. So what I really want to do is this, with this life lab, really, as I said, is to distill everything that I have learned through the research and through helping so many of the women that I have helped in the last 5 years through their hormonal challenges. I've supported clients who've been going through a fertility journey. I've been helping them through PMS and PDD. I've helped with menopausal symptoms and menopause. But it's mainly around my own awareness and my own responses in my own body and in my own life. And I wanted to share with you those key factors so that you can consider where you are right now. And if you're ready, then you can start to implement some of the changes in your life and start to see some of the benefits. I also wanted to share with you kind of like where you can go next. If something really resonates with you with what I want to share and you want to know more, then I'm going to give you the next level. I'm not going to go really, 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 really deep in here at all, but just let's distill it. Let's give you the key facts. What I'd like to say to you is that I'm giving you the executive summary so that you can then dive deeper. And I'm recording this in a slightly different way than I would normally do. I'm also going to be sharing with you all of the tools and the trackers and the checklists and the kind of like information distilled so that you can use those, so that you can then make your informed decisions and to make some choices. I'm also going to be sharing with you the strategies, the practices and the principles that have worked for me and helped really relieve some of the main symptoms of the perimenopause and prolonged me taking medication. I have had to take HRT, but I was informed and well informed. And in doing so, I really only struggled with really bad symptoms for 2 weeks because I knew what I was going to do when it got to that point. I'm also going to share with you the strategies that I've used for myself and with my clients so that you can create your own prescription for where you are right now in your life, in your hormonal life, and what you can do about it. Now, I want to put a really big caveat on all of this. I am not a doctor and I'm not a medical profession, but I've had conversations with them. I am a woman. I have had many years of hormonal ups and downs and roller coasters. I've had 5 pregnancies, lost 3 babies, and had 2 incredibly gorgeous, beautiful sons. And all of this that I'm going to be sharing with you today is from my own research and what I've understood and based on the decisions that I have made for myself. Now, I know that you are a smart and educated woman, and I'm going to trust that you are going to take all of the information that I'm going to share with you through these masterclasses and this Life Lab to inform yourself to make your own decisions, and go ahead and speak to your doctors, your medical health professionals, and create the right suite of support for you. But this is your starting place, that you know who to speak to, know where to go, know what questions to ask. As I said, this really is a bit of an executive summary. I used to have to create big packs with executive summaries at the beginning, and then you could dive deeper into the pack behind. And that's really what I wanted to do with you today, because I know time is such a precious commodity. This is about high level, and then you dive deeper where you want to go and offer you some next steps on what to do next. So really my goal of this Life Lab is to educate you and inspire you with my story and how quickly I've turned this around, and what I've learned as well, so that you can learn through me, learn from my hindsight and my experience. My wish for you is that you go forth with a really balanced approach of how you are going to deal or experience your perimenopause and ultimately the menopause after it. I'm going to give you those masculine and feminine energies and strategies. The masculine, that you are going to walk away with a plan that is right for you right now, but also know that you've got the information to change that plan at any point in time if anything changes within you. The feminine energies, I want you to walk away from this feeling really empowered, because you have got the knowledge and the tools that you can reach for, that you can use to support yourself emotionally, physically, mentally, so that you can really sail through this as much as possible. I want you to walk free from here, free from that fear, free from any excuses not to do anything about your symptoms or your situation. And I really want you to feel good about yourself and the changes that are happening in your body and in your life. Most of all, I don't want you to feel like you're alone, because that was one of the biggest things that I felt I was on my own. Is this only happening to me? And it still whispers in little pockets, and this is the way that you can know, even just by coming and experiencing it through me, you are not alone. And perhaps it will give you the confidence to speak to the people in your life, just like I did with mine, to know that you aren't alone. So this Life Lab is HRT in 3 ways. HRT cubed, I like to call it. And I'm going to give you this Life Lab in a slightly different way as I've done the previous ones. I'm going to give it to you in 3 parts, so you can watch them in whichever order you feel is the most relevant to you and where you are right now in your hormonal, perimenopausal, menopausal journey. The first one, HRT1, is really about this medical support, the hormone replacement treatment. If you want to know more about your hormones in perimenopause and menopause and hormone replacement treatment, what you can do to understand why, if and when you may want to get the hormone replacement treatment or medical support. This is just great to know, even if you aren't ready for it yet. What you're going to learn is going to help you understand when you need it and what to watch for. I think this was one of the most important factors for me. You know, so many women, so many of my clients have struggled for a really long time and denied themselves the feeling of feeling better and good about themselves. But because I was aware of all of this, I was able to act quickly, and I didn't really have much longer than 2 weeks of a particularly unpleasant time. So we're going to go through understanding what's happening in your body, what you can expect, what you can look for, what to track, when to go to your GP. What I found out in the last 5 years that's changed, and how and then and why and what choices I made when it came to HRT, what I armed myself with, the questions and the information I took to my GP so that we could make the right decision for me. Now, you might not be ready for HRT, but it's so good to be informed and to know what to do when the time comes. So that's HRT1. If that's where you are right now, then you can go and watch the next video, HRT1. HRT2 is very much more around this lifestyle support for your HRT. So this was my health reset technique. I'm going to talk to you about what I did in terms of my mental, my physical, and my emotional health to support me through this time. So HRT2, this video is for anyone or everyone with hormones, regardless of whether you're in the perimenopause or menopause, in my belief. This is just going to be so good for your monthly cycle, your holistic health, and any of your hormonal goals. But the most important thing I want you to know, if this is as far as you're going to get with watching today, is that the choices that you are going to make with your lifestyle today, how you honor your health at any point in your life, is going to contribute to how you experience your future in your life. This is so important for how you experience it now and how you're going to experience it in the longevity period of time. That did not make much very good English sense, but you know what I mean. Looking after your physical body, your mental state, your emotional state is critical, not only to how you're experiencing and living and loving your life now, but how long and how well you are going to live and love, and the quality of your life. So this is important for everybody. And if you're going to start anywhere, you're not sure where to start, then start with HRT2. I'm going to talk to you about what you can do before, during, and after your perimenopause or menopause. I'm going to share with you what I did to support my mood fluctuations, because I had them, and balance my hormones during those quite wobbly times. My goal for you in this section is to really help you create the right kind of lifestyle prescription for you and to support your hormonal changes of what's going on in your body. But mainly, I want to help you make it sustainable so that you keep doing it, and also applicable for your life now and for the future that you want to live and experience. So HRT2, if that's what you want to know, that's where you're going to go next. The third piece of the HRT cubed is all around your emotional support. So you can probably see the first two are very much around the masculine strategies, what you can do, where you can go, how you can implement these things into your life, the masculine support structures and strategies. HRT3 is all about honoring your rhythms and your truths. This is very much more around the feminine energies of what you can do to support yourself, and often, I believe, the missing link for so many women. As I said, I love to teach and train and coach and mentor in the masculine and feminine. And this is the feminine. This is less about doing, and it's more about being. It's about who you are as a woman. The energy with which you're going to apply all of the strategies we've just talked about in HRT1 and HRT2. Because I know, I believe, and I have come to understand through my own experiences that it is the way in which the person you are being, the energy with which you apply to what you're doing, that is going to have an impact on the results. Now, if you're new to masculine and feminine energies, there's a couple of ways I'd like to describe it for you so you can really understand the way in which I'm talking about it. The first way I really understood it was the energy with which you speak a word. So, for example, I love the word naughty. That can have two meanings when it's said with a different energy on a different frequency. So, naughty, you're so naughty. I cannot believe you disobeyed me and you've come home after 10 p.m. You know, you've gone against my wishes. The implication is that naughty equals bad. Naughty. Oh, you're so naughty. I can't believe you skipped work and you bought a picnic and we're going to go off on a little mini adventure. You're so naughty. You know, the implication is that that's good and it's exciting. So it's the way in which we speak the words that can really, really change the way in which people take them on. That's the first example. The second one is we've been down in Cornwall, so I'm going to use a surfer analogy, but you know, the surfer who gets on the board is going to paddle. She's going to do the things. I paddle out to the wave. I jump onto my board. I'm going to do the thing. I'm going to surf the wave. But who am I being on that surfboard and on that wave? Am I going to have a mind full of fear and doubts and worries and concerns that what if I crash into someone, and what if I fall off, and what if I hit my head on the floor? And you tense up, and you're probably going to fall off anyway, and you might not ever get back up on that surfboard. But if you go out there on your surfboard and you are the one who's going to just embrace every single minute of being on that surfboard, whether the sun's shining or whether it's raining, you're trusting in yourself, you're confident you're going to have a great time, you're confident that if you get on your board and you fall off, or if you swallow loads of water, and if you knock yourself, you are going to be okay. And you know that you're going to be able to get back on, and you are going to love every moment, and you're going to value every single experience, so that it can teach you more of how you can surf better. This is the difference between your energy when you get on a surfboard, and that is exactly the same with the energy with which you are going to apply here in terms of the doing. And that is what I'm going to cover here in this third HRT, the honoring of your rhythms and your truth. This is about the woman that you are today and how you are going to surf through this, sail through this. I'm going to go deeper into connecting with who you are in this phase of your life. I'm going to share with you how I honored my rhythms and my truths, the tools that I used to really deepen that understanding with me, how I really got to grips with my hormonal emotions and how I created this resilience so that I could experience it and experience this natural rite of passage in a really beautiful way, how I trusted my intuition, and how I coped with my identity crisis that I really felt that I was having during this time. I felt that I didn't have any friends. I wasn't any good. It was my emotionals playing havoc with me, but because I knew this, I was able to sail it through. So those are your 3 HRTs, your hormone replacement treatment, your health reset technique, and your honoring of your rhythms and your truth. You can start wherever you feel is going to be and have the maximum impact for you right now and where you are in your journey. And then there's going to be a final part. In the concluding video that I'm going to share with you, I'm going to go through some of the options of how you can deepen your understanding of each of those key parts, how you can use all of them, what you've learned, and the options of how you can work with me further, either through my free content or through some of my paid coaching and mentorship services, whether that's long-term or short-term, whether you want intensive support just to give you a bit of a boost, or whether you need something else. Maybe you want to understand your human design. That is something that has hugely supported me on this journey. So wherever you are today, are you ready to get started? Do you know where you're headed? Because wherever you're going, I'll see you there. And I look forward to seeing you then.